to lesson 2. This is all about, the attractive character behind your brand, who you are going to be on social media. And no, this is not a fake it till you make it type of lesson at all. This is actually going to be about, real authenticity, really connecting with your audience, just being a real person so that they actually have someone to latch onto, that they will eventually know, like, and trust, and then ultimately, trust with their dollars in the future. And so the attractive character has a handful of different elements. So I'm going to go walk through those individually one by one, and then I will talk about the different types of identities, and essentially maybe we can figure out which one you fall into after you hear the definitions. And so first off, I will put a preface on this. This is not my own teaching. I'm actually getting this from a marketer who is much, much better than I am, and is kind of like one of the godfathers of marketing, Mr. Russell Brunson. And so I suggest you go ahead and read his book, Dotcom Secrets. Actually, he's got a couple books out there. I will make sure that you got the link to those. You can actually get the book for free. You just pay shipping and handling, but it is an incredible, incredible way to learn how to build out your brand, the identity of your attractive character. It's going to go into way more depth than I'm going to in this, few minute video. So highly suggest buying that. You will, literally go back to that book so many different times as you build your business, and it's just kind of like the ultimate manual to building a business online. And so when it comes to elements, right, you've got your backstory of the character, which actually we'll go and just jump into that right from the get-go, okay? So ultimately, now that you know what your niche market is, you know what your customer avatar is, the backstory of your attractive character can speak directly to that person. And so for me, I've written some ad copies, in my ebook, etc. I can kind of talk about some of my issues and struggles as an employee for a large corporation, doing phone sales, hating my job, hating my life, just, my backstory of where I came from and where I am now. So that way, someone who's in that similar situation can actually relate and really see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And so you're going to want to go ahead and jump into your backstory, let them know that you are a real person, there's nothing special about you, and if they follow your advice, your suggestions, etc., they can have what you have now. And so when it comes to parables, right, Russell talks about how attractive characters speak in parables. Gives the example of Jesus, kind of talking to his followers, because Jesus would often speak in parables because those type of stories were relatable to everyone and they were easily remembered. And so when it comes to getting a message across to people, one of the best ways that you can send that message is with a story, because then people kind of create their own image, their own story in their own mind, and then it's going to go ahead and jump in those file cabinets way deep in their brain so they can pull it out later on and address that story again. Now, when it comes to flaws, right, this is your relatability with those individuals in your niche market. So you can't just be this like perfect specimen, right? I'm sure you've seen me misspeak at least a dozen times by now. There's probably been a few different cuts and edits by this time of things I just said wrong or something I said goofy. We might put a bloopers reel at the end of this, I'm not sure, because it's taken a few rounds to shoot this, but ultimately you've got to be real, you got to have flaws, and you got to be relatable to that avatar, to that specific niche. And reason being is, in the book he gives the example of Superman, which if you know anything about me, I am a huge Superman fan, have been since 2001, since the TV show Smallville aired. Was Team Spider-Man, very quickly jumped over to Team Superman. However, growing up, I thought Superman was the most boring character in the world. Why did I think that? Because Superman is perfect, right? Superman literally can, run faster than a speeding bullet. He can fly. He's got freaking heat vision. I mean, you name it. This dude can do it. And he pretty much can't die. And even when he died, he came back to life. So Death of Superman fans, if you're out there, cool. And this is how we can relate. But anyway, so Superman, as a whole, right? If you just kind of see him from the surface level, Superman's not relatable at all, right? Like, I'm not perfect. I can never be that guy. I'm never going to be that dashing, that good looking, always have perfect hair, etc. Superman is a very unrelatable superhero until you learn about his upbringing, you learn about his struggles, you learn about kryptonite, right? He now, this perfect specimen, this ultimate superhero, has a weakness. And that adds so much depth. That gives Superman flaws, relatability. You learn about his mistakes and issues growing up. And, and I was talking about the TV show Smallville. The reason why I became a Superman fan very, very quickly is because it humanized Superman. It made him, this punk teenager who, was going through puberty and could barely keep his heat vision to himself, if you know what I mean. So, when I saw his flaws, when I saw that he struggled with the same things I was, back when I was freaking 13 when that TV show started, it just makes it easier to jump on the Superman bandwagon, even though many other comic book nerds out there will disagree with me on that. But anyway, you want to make sure you show those so that people can connect with you, relate with you, and they realize you're not just, hovering above a mountain, this perfect person, and you're reachable. So hopefully that makes sense. So next we got polarity. This is the last element of the attractive character. Polarity essentially just means that you are extremely strong-headed, bull-headed in one direction, right? If you are, if you are, a digital nomad, entrepreneur, etc., like me, I'm extremely anti-jobs. I'm not going to call people out hardcore for it, but I will, in my marketing, in my post, in my content, I will talk about jobs and talk about the stress and the issues and the headaches and everything else, because I don't think anyone should have a job. Personally, I think that everybody has enough ambition to build a business, especially a business online, especially in the 21st century. Like, this is the ultimate time to become an entrepreneur, and it's really going to be one of the best things to essentially stimulate an economy anywhere around the world. And so I'm extremely passionate about entrepreneurship, and that is why I am teaching individuals how to become entrepreneurs and chase their dreams, goals, and passions, and then turn them into a business so that they can live as a digital nomad. Whether they want to go travel the world or if they just want to stay put with their family and provide the best for them, I want to help them create that business. So that is what polarity is. You are extremely one way, and you're going to go ahead and oppose the other side of the spectrum, meaning I'm not going to go easy on people with jobs when they have the potential to live their dream. So now we're going to jump into the different identities of these 4 different attractive characters. There's only 4 here, and so I'm going to kind of run through each one of those, starting with the leader. And when I talk about the identity, this is kind of like the message or the stature or level that they're speaking to you at. And so for example, the leader, right? They lead their audience from one place to another, right? They've been there, done that. Maybe they've been around the block a few times. So if you're brand new, if you're just getting started out with all this, then you're probably not going to fall into the leader right away. If you have been in a particular niche for a long time and you can say, hey, I'm certified in nutrition, and I've also got my NASM personal training certificate, and you can speak from that level, then cool. Grab people and bring them along with you, and you'll fit that leader role perfectly. Leaders also, like I said, they're already successful, and they're going to basically help that newbie get to where they want to go. And so if that is you, then you fall into the leader category. Next, we've got the adventurer, right? This is great in particular niches. Travel is obviously a great niche if you're the adventurer, because it just meshes well. But you could be the adventurer, or the individual who kind of goes out and tests things first. And so adventurers, they are curious, right? But they don't have all the answers. So what that means is, they're always down to explore. They're always, out to, kind of find the best way of doing things. And but at the same time, they're not going to be the leader. I've already been there, done that. They're more the explorer. They're going to go out and figure out the best way to do it. Outside of that, let's see here. Basically, just goes and finds the content or the information that you need, and they bring it back to you. Now you've got the reporter, right? Adventurer and reporter, somewhat similar, but still quite different. And so the reporters, they're more of like the evangelists, right? they discover or uncover the truth for their audience. So they're going to go out there and just kind of be the sounding board of like, hey, this is legit, this is not. Everybody says that, it's best to eat 3 to 5 meals a day. However, intermittent fasting is the way to go, right? They're going to bring the information to you. And as far as the reporter, they're going to go out and maybe do more like interview style type content where they go out and they, bring people onto a podcast if that's your medium of, your attractive character, or maybe they have people on a Zoom call for a YouTube channel, whatever it may be. They're going to go out, grab that information, and then bring it back to you. Now, the last one is the reluctant hero, right? And the reluctant hero basically is the individual who, they don't want the spotlight, they don't want to be the man or anything like that, but they know that the information they have is extremely valuable, and so therefore they want to bring that information to the world. And if they feel like it's literally like their civic duty, their civil duty in order to do this and bring it back. So this is honestly kind of be like my girlfriend Rachel with her nutrition business, right? She doesn't want to be the spotlight. Most of her posts on her page are about food and whatever. But at the same time, she feels like it's her calling and her duty to bring the information of health and nutrition and wellness to the world. So she goes ahead and puts her, her own, desires out of the way, desires to not be in the spotlight, etc. And she steps into the spotlight so that she can be that for other people. So this is going to fit a lot of people because not a whole lot of people are comfortable putting themselves out in the spotlight. But if you truly believe in, your niche or your product or whatever it may be enough, then you're going to make it happen one way or another. So typically the reluctant hero, they'll have to overcome that shyness in order to bring their discoveries or their passions to the world. So I would do a little bit more research on this. As I mentioned, buy the book, Dotcom Secrets, so that you can understand this at a much deeper level, and then that way you can go about formulating and crafting your ultimate attractive character for your audience so that they can connect with that individual and follow you on your journey. So with that, I'll leave you with kind of brain, letting that stew in your brain for a little bit. And then when you're ready, come over and we'll meet you on lesson 3. So thanks for checking this out, guys. We'll see you on the next lesson.